that is so me. Like, I have all of these questions. Everyone on my team knows this. I'm very much like, let me ask you something. Like, I want to understand what's going on. And also within myself, I'm like, let me ask you something, self. And I've been asking myself this whole album, like, should I do this? Can I? Is that allowed? Like, what happens? You know what I'm saying? What do people think if I do that? And I really, really loved the theme of why not more? Like, why can't I just lean into all the things, man? Like, what is the answer to the why not more? And is that enough, that answer? No, because it's all rooted in fear. So I can't live like that. I gotta jump.
Does everything feel serious for you right now? We finally made it to the debut album. It's been a journey up until this point.
Now that it's out and like in the world and I can see people's feedback and I can like tangibly see what's going on.
Yeah.
Now it feels real. But like before it was kind of like, everyone's like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know yet, you know? I'm very much like whatever's in front of me, that's what's real. Whatever's coming up on the agenda, that ain't real yet.
That's a good way to stay sane.
You think so?
Trying to overthink it sometimes too much and being too future focused can, I feel like, drive you a little bit up the wall. But part of that probably is also because you've been working for such a long time. It's really interesting. I think like working in entertainment. So for example, I wanted to be a writer or a journalist. That didn't like seriously start to take shape until, I don't know, college. For you, you've been really working since you were like 9 years old at this. So it has really been a long journey. And has it been a rewarding journey for you?
I mean, absolutely. I am very tough on myself though. So like the rewards that the world is like, yeah, I'm like, but they don't know the inner thing that I really, really need to see happen for me to like stop hustling so hard. You know what I'm saying? And not even just hustling. I feel like to just stop downplaying myself. I don't know.
And is there a thing, like a tangible thing? Because there are things like winning a Grammy Award, for example. That's a thing.
It is. Of course, it's a big thing. I don't know. I can't like verbalize what it is. It's like an inward thing. It's an inward feeling of like, yeah. But I mean, me winning a Grammy, I was like, what? That wasn't in the plan, in my mental of like, it's like you do this first and then this happens, then you put this out and then this happens and then you know, so I wasn't prepared in that plan of my brain to win a Grammy before I put out an album.
Wow.
So I think in my mind, the things that I thought go first are like album and learning process and correcting things. And then you're figuring it out and then you get the Grammy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It was all kind of backwards to me.
Backwards, but also you have had the learning process, right? So although this Why Not More is the official debut album, you're not new to this. You've released multiple projects, right? Over a span of more than 10 years. So maybe you're not giving yourself enough credit for the experience. And also,
it's definitely me.
It doesn't sound like you give yourself many breaks.
No. I don't know. I have gotten better at that though. I have gotten better. Literally my PR would be like, no, you work just as hard. I was like, really? She told me that. She was like, you work just as hard as you did a couple years ago. Really?
I'll be honest with you. When we were kicking around ideas for the shoot, that was one of the things. They're like, Coco doesn't get a lot of time off, right? You're acting, you're juggling music, you're doing so much, you're traveling. So we're brainstorming all these things. Like, should we take her to the spa? Should we do nails? Like, how can we make her feel relaxed? And then I was like, maybe we're doing too much and we just kind of keep it looking in the studio so she's not pulled in a million different directions. But yeah, it doesn't sound like you necessarily get a lot of time to decompress.
No, I mean, it's not like there's a certain hour where I'm done with work and then I'm like, and now you're at home. Like, that's not how my life goes. It's more of like, hey, something is rescheduled. So you have this day off now, or you have this first half of the day off. And I'm like, whoa. And that's when I'll just do nothing, like nothing. It's a recharge moment. But I mean, right now, I don't feel like I want a lot of breaks. I mean, literally on Christmas, when like the industry starts to slow down a little bit, I'm like, what's going on? Who am I? Help. I don't know. I'm not into the whole breaking for super long. I don't know. I like to be using my muscles.
Your stillness can last for a maximum of a half day or so.
I would say a maximum of like 4 or 5 days for real. And then I'm like, let me at least write a little song on my notes or something. I'm like, somebody send me a beat. I don't know. I just feel like
This is what happens when you've been working since you were 9 years old.
Maybe that's real.
I don't think you even know like what it's like to take a break. You know, I obviously didn't know you as a kid, but just based on my interactions with you, what I've seen, the music I've listened to, it also seems like you basically were just born with this big voice, big personality, just ready to go. Like, it seems like you maybe didn't even have a choice. Like, you just needed to get to work ASAP.
I feel like, yeah, in a way, it chose me this career path and this lifestyle. And also, it made me feel so fulfilled that nothing else competed. Like, I mean, no sleepover was worth me being in the studio. Like, no boy was worth me getting sidetracked. It just didn't hit the same. I just wanted to accomplish more things. I wanted to be, in my mind, I was like, I just want to be a superstar. I just want to be a superstar. I didn't know what all that meant. I didn't know what that all like pertained to or what that leads to. I just knew that like the girls I looked up to, like Cheetah Girls, Raven-Symoné, Hannah Montana, those were superstars. I want to be a superstar. So what do? How do I get there?
Wow. I mean, it must have helped that, like, so your mom was also a singer. Your dad played in the NFL. So you had pretty good examples of, I think, what it meant to, like, work towards those goals.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that. I feel like with all of my siblings, my parents were really aligned in making us feel like we could accomplish anything, but it would come with hard work. Like, I think we all were very sober-minded about, like, this is not handed to you. Whatever it is you want. You can get it, though. It just will be hard.
I mean, it seems like you were fine with that hard work. So because I've heard that you don't take so many breaks, which means that you probably don't have a lot of time. I spend a lot of time really reflecting on everything that you've accomplished and what you've been through. I really wanted to like look back on just some of like your earlier moments, like in this industry, just so people could like understand like this journey you've been on until the album. And so like I have some photos here. And this first one, look, you're so adorable here. So how old? You said you were about 9 years old here?
Yeah. So I was 9 there.
And where are we? Clearly singing.
I'm singing the national anthem, but I feel like that was the second time that I sang it. The first time, so I might be 10. I actually might be 10 here. The first time I was 9. But yeah, I remember glitter was my thing. Like, I just wanted to shine bright like a diamond up there, okay? So that is hilarious. But I do remember like not being nervous at all.
Are you serious?
No.
Do you know, I feel like for adults who sing the national anthem, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Every time people talk about how that song is notoriously difficult to sing. So it's really amazing at that age you didn't feel any nerves.
I feel like because I didn't fully have perspective of what the world is. I was like, it's my world and I live here in this world of mine. But now as an adult, I'm like, this is the real world. So if I did mess up on this note, then they could compare it to this. And if I don't sing this right, this might go viral. So like, it is more nerve-wracking now because of outside opinions, not necessarily me. Just, I don't want negative feedback. I don't want people to be like, oh, that was boring. Like, dang, I saw that. I'm on Twitter too, you know?
Do you like shut that out sometimes? Like how much of that, because I understand it's sometimes nice to have constructive feedback or criticism, but a lot of times the internet, not so constructive, you know? So like, how do you balance like really understanding what is worth taking in and what's worth blocking out?
I think you have to inwardly know yourself who you are. So that filters out anything that is, it has nothing to do with you. And that's somebody with their Twitter fingers who will never, you know, their username is like, what, who? Thank you. But I think other times you know what you signed up for in this career to be perceived a lot. And the better you are, the more you're perceived. The bigger you are, the more you're perceived. It's kind of like the cost. So don't take it personal or don't be so good. Hello?
I love your outlook on life.
I feel like at first I was like, I just want to make everybody happy. Like probably when I get older in more of these, as I get older, I'm more concerned about people's
And by the way, older, we're talking about 12 years old.
I know.
12 or 13 years old.
That's hilarious.
Still with the sequins. We still love some sparkles.
Oh, so babe, they're not going away anytime soon.
This is like the Disney years, right?
Yeah, that was around that. So that's the Next Big Thing tour. So that was the first thing that I ever really did with Disney. And you got to like go on tour. I was like, what? Ooh, but that tour was so, ghetto.
But what's touring even like as a 12-year-old?
My mom handling everything, literally being the tour manager, the stylist, the hair and makeup, and us figuring it out. Like if we needed to drive places, some of these like concerts, festivals were drivable. Some of them were, were flying, but oh my gosh, just giving Airbus. The cheapest route there was the one we took, It was very, very DIY.
Did you still have that like kid or I guess preteen at that point, like confidence in what you were doing, like just enjoying it and feeling like I belong here. I know what I'm doing. This is for me.
Yeah. I would say around that time I was still pretty certain, like, yeah, this is it. This is me. I'm good at this. And the world is just figuring it out. Like, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what I thought here for sure.
Look at this, like these smiles here. Like, it's nice. Yeah. You look comfortable on stage, like from a very young age. Like.
Definitely. But you know what? At this time though, I really had to learn to be fearless because these people did not know me. And honestly, they were waiting on whoever was next. I don't know who would have been on that stage after me, but like sometimes it was really, really big artists. Like freaking Selena Gomez would have come out with her band. Like they don't want to see me. And I'm like, I'm gonna make y'all believe in me. So you have to have a certain, like, let's go. I mean, I would be singing so many covers, like 4 originals. And I was like, oh, Lord, let's get this original over. They don't know this. Then I'd sing a cover and they'd be like, yeah. And by the end, I would just have the goal of making sure everybody was dancing. But, you know, you can see them so clearly right here.
Yeah.
So, and I know in my brain, I'm looking at all of their faces. And until they're getting into it, like, I'm not satisfied with the performance.
You really were a born entertainer. Like, this is like literally in your blood.
Yeah, it had to be a gift from God because nobody taught me that. Nobody taught me that desire. But I do think my mom was crucial in helping me to cultivate it because my mom was also a tough critic. She'd be like, that performance is boring. She'd be like, cut. That's not giving you anything. That's not anything. Like, seriously, she was not holding back. And literally sometimes we'd be in meetings and she would do this with her earring. And I knew that would mean I would have to sing. So I'd be like, can I sing for you guys? And it'd be like a group of executives who've seen 50 kids. They're not trying to hear that. But I'd be like, trust me, you're going to want to hear me sing. And I would just start singing. Even if they were about to say no, I'm singing.
Wow.
Crazy.
So like you started with Disney when you were, somewhere between like 9 and 12, right? You had a first record deal and there was a gap in between like your next one, right?
Yeah.
That happened somewhere in your early 20s. So like in that time in between, like what was happening for you in your life and how were you feeling as an artist and an entertainer?
So I got signed when I was 14 and dropped when I was 16. And it was really disappointing because I had this feeling that like when, I don't know what I thought, but I felt like as soon as I get that one opportunity, it'll all grow like rapid fire. Like I thought it was just like a domino effect. So I figured like, okay, I've done this movie and it's huge, domino effect. That's how it goes. Like that's just what I was sure happened. Because that's also, I think, what I'd seen. Like you see somebody and they're like a little character and they have one line and then they're a guest star somewhere. They have a bigger line. And next thing you know, they have a TV show. So I don't know. That's what I thought. And so I was really disappointed because my plan was I was going to graduate early at 17 and move to LA and I'd be filming my TV show there. I'd have my license. Girl, I got my license the day I turned 16. I was not playing around. And I was just like, I'm going to be driving in LA and I'm going to be so booked. And it's just like, this is what it is. This is my life now. And it did not go that way. So I think that was when like inwardly there was a shift in me and it went from certain to foggy and unsure what I was going to get in return for all of this effort. You know, I thought you put in the effort, you get it in return, like, you know? So yeah, it was hard.
But also you still didn't give up. That's the next thing.
Yeah.
At that point, you could have been like, cool, this is not working out. Clearly it's not for me. I'm going to move on to something else. I think that happens often too, but clearly that's not you.
I have to give that credit to God because financially, I was going to go when there was nothing left. Like, so tangibly, that was the trajectory if something didn't change. Because it's still LA. It's like, I wasn't working a job. I was living off savings. So they were going to run out eventually. But miracles would happen and it'd be like, all right, so maybe you come home and, you know, you could go to college for a little bit. You could try something else. My mom was like, you could work in music. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I guess that will be next because this is what's happening. And then I would get a job and it'd be like, what? I literally would be like, me? Okay. I mean, I didn't work all year. Me?
And at this point, was it just jobs in music or acting?
Because it was acting. It was definitely acting that kept me afloat. Thank you, my girl, my 9 to 5. No, I'm just kidding. But and then it would also be like a brand deal or something random. I'd be like, y'all know my engagement is a shiz. What?
Those are the signs.
Yeah, exactly. So I was gonna stay as long as the door kept coming open. I was gonna stay. I was gonna stay for sure.
And you've had a successful run in acting, doing the Fresh Prince reboot. You did work for Netflix. So like clearly acting is also something that you're great at, right? You have a talent for it, but you always end up coming back to music, like what made you still want to focus on like actually creating and recording?
I never stopped singing, ever since I was born. It's like it's part of my personality. Like to be sitting somewhere and be like, oh, I'm ready to go. Like, it's just like something in me. So I don't know. It's like I would have to leave myself in order to stop doing music. I would have to like let go of a version of myself that I've known my whole life.
At that time, did you have any expectations as you started sharing that music, or you literally were just doing it as something that you enjoyed? And then when people were really paying attention, were you surprised, or you're like, oh, this makes sense. They should be paying attention.
Oh, no, girl. I could never say that one. Too humble for that one. That ain't my truth, that one. Of course. No, babe. I was so like grossed out at my social media that I would just post it and like turn it off. Because I was like, I had seen it go from like all these likes. Like when you're on Disney Channel, like you don't even know all the places that are seeing you. Even still to today, I'd be surprised. Like I'm out the country and people be like, Roxy. And I'm like, what? This is powerful.
Yo, Disney Channel is huge.
I didn't know how powerful that it was. So I went from seeing like a world shift to like another world shift. And it was too much. So I would just post and like go away. But I loved music so much that I would hear stuff and I'd be like, oh, I'm so inspired by that. Like I remember when I heard Girls Need Love by Summer Walker. I was in New York because I was doing this Broadway play. And I remember I was playing this playlist and I just stopped walking. And I was like, nah, I can't stop because this feels too good. Like music is too good to me. And I remember I was listening to the lyrics and I was like, what? You can talk like that? What? And I saw the reaction and people would be saying the crazy lyrics like, yeah. And I was like, what? So I was like, it was all kind of like morphing me into a real person. Like seriously, a real person. Like
at that point, did you feel like there was a certain way you had to show up in your songs or in your songwriting?
Yeah, I was still very people pleaser. I was trying to get out of that. And so I didn't want my parents to be like, what'd you just say? Like, I didn't want them to be like, come back home, you tripping. Like, I didn't want people to be like, whoa, I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. I had to find it. It was just nothing but like, who do I be? Like, what should I do? Who am I? So I really had to find it at the time.
Interesting. I mean, it feels like you definitely found it.
Yeah.
On Why Not More. And I wonder, so between the EP you released in 2023 and this project, so you had ICU, which was like a huge success. At that point, you're too humble to say it, so I guess I'll say it for you.
Please.
People were they were paying attention. They locked in. Like I said, you have this big, beautiful voice, and then we started seeing more of your personality, which also we love. You're radiant, you know what I mean? Very charismatic and like a fun person to like genuinely be around.
Thanks.
So between the EP and the album, did more things shift for you in terms of feeling more confident and more in control of who you actually wanted to be as an artist?
Yes, definitely things shifted. The EP version of me was, okay, I know what I am and I know what I like to sing about. I know what I like to say, but how do I not mess this up? So everyone tell me what to do. Like, and I just don't want to mess this up. Here are my ideas. Y'all pick. Here's what I can do, what I can wear. Y'all pick. I just didn't want to mess it up, So yeah, I'm very much more different than that version of me. I feel like this version of me is like, I'm not always going to be right and I'm not always going to be wrong. So here's how I feel about it. Here's my thoughts. Now, everybody else, what do you think? And we all sit together. And sometimes I really stand on business. I'm like, nah, it has to be this. It has to be this. And I might be wrong, but I'd rather say something at this point because, people come and go, but I'm the only one who's got to be here. And I learned a lot from doing all of these things that other people chose for me. Like, oh, okay, I should have said something. So this time, say something.
So it feels comfortable now.
Yeah.
Actually speaking up.
I mean, yeah, no.
Not 100%.
But I'm getting better. And also, I feel like I have a really supportive team who who wants to understand me, you know? So I got to understand me so that I can articulate it to my team. But yeah, they're very, very supportive in whatever it is. And sometimes I'm more like, this is what I want to do, but if this is the wrong way, can somebody explain why so that I can learn, you know? Because I don't know how it goes over here. I'm still a baby over here.
I'm sure you've definitely learned a lot in the past few years. And I'm assuming that now you're past the point of like posting and trying to run away from your social media, that we're leaning in. Like you do have a fan base that is like very supportive and like invested in seeing you grow as an artist. So now here we are, it's album time. Like how do you approach writing, recording, producing like the album? You only get one of these. I feel like as an adult, the older and older you get, you have less firsts in life, which is a little bit sad. You only get one first album.
Yeah. It started the way I feel like everything starts. You're very like broad with it. Well, you know, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody. But for me, I was very broad with what I was up to and what I was feeling. I think single wise, Here We Go came out first. And that was kind of, okay, so what can I do similar to the ICU world? Like, what can I do that really gives raw vocals and an authentic storyline? That's what I think, that's what that was. Let's do something similar in that realm, but different. So then Here We Go was that. And then, well, yeah, okay, that was like everything. Then I was like, okay, now I want to do something different. I want to do something up-tempo. I need an up-tempo. I'm trying to dance. So then I put out another song. They wasn't feeling that. I was like, okay. And then I switched it up and then I learned from that.
It's interesting. So you still figure out ways to test the waters and get some feedback from your fans as you go.
I feel like I have to, because if the only other option is to do the same thing over and over again in a way and a little different. And that's just not what I was feeling to do, you know? And maybe I'll look back and be like, girl, you had a formula right in front of you. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to think after this album, but I do know I change dramatically every 6 business days in this freaking industry. So I know something's going to change about me. But yeah, at the time that my feeling was, I want to do something different now. I gave y'all, Here We Go. We in that world. Don't come on now. I'm still with y'all.
That's a great record.
But like, thank you. But also let me do this. Can I be free? You know? So then I did Taste and I was like, this is different. I'm scared. Don't be mad at me. Some people are mad at me. Why y'all mad? Can I live? Here we go. We did it anyway. Moving on. And then
way to capture all the emotions in like 5 seconds. You know, where did the idea from that track originate?
It's never my intention to sample anything. I'm just like, that's hot, you know, and then I run with that. But I was finished with the album, so I thought, and it was supposed to come out, and this was last fall, but you know, it wasn't giving seamless. Things was clashing and it was giving rushed, and I was getting scared that it wasn't gonna be right. And so we pushed it back so that everybody could just not be rushed. Me too, you know? So then I was like, well, hey, I already got my album. What's up with y'all? Hey, let's have fun, you know? And then we started creating from a place of, let's just have fun. What, the job is done. And then Taste came out of that. So to me, I'm like, you guys know that like I also did Disney Channel and I sang the most bubblegum pop songs. Like there's a whole project of that. That's out. Like that was a part of that was my preteens. And I still love that stuff. Like I will listen to some of the songs and I'll be like I have a vast music taste. And so I'm like, can I show that too? Or am I only allowed to do the traditional thing? Like, dang, is this a cage?
And this is why the debut is special. You're allowed to do all of those things. And then you set the expectations now, right? Yeah. I'm sure there are many, many more albums in your future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, let people know, like, this is the template. I'm going to do what I want.
Facts.
Have fun. I do R&B. I can do pop. Like, there's no boundaries. It's like, yeah, sometimes people just they gotta figure out the way to like find you.
That's a fact. And I don't even feel like there is a formula at this point and at this stage of music. It's just like whatever catches. And that's outside of all of us. So you might as well in the meantime do what you love to do instead of trying to always be doing what you think is going to work, because nobody really knows.
Yeah, you definitely flirted with some sounds on the title track for the album. So you have YG Marley on that one.
Yeah. We
got some little like reggae vibes. Why was the direction you wanted to go for that track?
So I was working with Pooh Bear in London, And we were going through titles. Like sometimes when you're writing, you want to come up with a concept before And London was working on this track, and it was kind of like a island type vibe. And so we were like, hell yeah, what up? We're going to do it. Like, why not? And he read this title, and I read a title, then he read one, and he was like, why not more? And I was like, it was like lightning. And I was like, that is so cool. Like, let's just run with that. And then it became just a really good vibe. And it also really made me feel like that is so me. Like, I have all of these questions. Everyone on my team knows this. I'm very much like, let me ask you something. Like, I want to understand what's going on. And also within myself, I'm like, let me ask you something, self. And I've been asking myself this whole album, like, should I do this? Can I? Is that allowed? Like, what happens? You know what I'm saying? What do people think if I do that? And I really, really loved the theme of why not more? Like, why can't I just lean into all the things, man? Like, what is the answer to the why not more? And is it enough, that answer? No, because it's all rooted in fear. So I can't live like that. I got to jump.
I feel like asking all those questions is very like childlike in the most positive way, right? You're so curious and inquisitive and like, let's push the boundaries. Let's find out more. Like, why not? I feel like, as we get older, we just set more and more limits on ourselves. So it's nice. Like, you decided to go the opposite route with the album. And one of my favorite songs is track number 13. I think it's By Myself.
Yeah.
By Myself.
Period.
I think this record where you're talking about wanting to become more comfortable being by yourself or being alone, which is like, it's an interesting thing. I think a lot of us wrestle with that throughout our lives. So is that something that like you felt like you have been becoming more comfortable being by yourself, or is still a work in progress?
I think I am becoming more comfortable being by myself, because by myself doesn't mean alone. Sometimes it means more doing what's necessary to take time for yourself and take mental space for yourself, and to be okay with like the stillness and the silence, and to be welcoming to like whatever thoughts come up that you need to unpack, So I look at it like crucial for growth and crucial for self-understanding, which I feel like if I don't spend specific time keeping in tune with myself, I'm going to lose myself. There's just way too much going on up in here for you to not.
There are a lot of demands, especially like in a career like yours, to be honest with you. So I'm grateful that you decided to like sit down and like chat about the album.
Of course.
But I personally don't know if I released an album that I'd been working for so long on. Doing press would be my favorite part necessarily. I feel like sometimes artists are like, man, can't y'all just shut up and play the music? Like, why do I need to keep talking? So like when the schedule gets so busy and it's so hectic, like, and you do have those still moments in between, are there things that you do to just center yourself, or even before you get on stage, like just keep yourself feeling balanced and not like you're just running all over the place, which you are?
That's true. Well, first of all, I like doing interviews, and I don't want you to feel bad about that, because I think it's a good opportunity to like ask good questions and get good answers and learn more about yourself,
This is why I like you, Coco.
Thanks, girl. Don't be fucking about I like doing interviews, and I like sitting here with you. But therapy is really, really crucial for me to feel like I'm still in tune with myself, because girl, the pros of being in this industry for a long time is like you have a lot of tenacity. The con is sometimes it can give robot. Like something will upset me and I'll be like, not today. Like there's too much to do. Like I can literally compartmentalize. And sometimes I'm like, girl, you should have felt that, Even if it's good emotion, I'm like, thank you. I can't. Like, like even looking at these pictures, I'm like, a part of me is like, I could be, girl, you can't. That, you know what I'm saying? So some parts of me, I'm like, ooh, that's a little too robotic up in here. But therapy is where I literally will strategically, that's in my calendar, I'm feeling all the things. So like when people are asking me, how do I feel about my album? I'm like, I haven't even turned my feelings on yet. So I will do that in this hour from 11 to 12:30. And I really will. Like I really will be like, heart on. And I might start crying up in there. Like, girl, I'll be going in with my therapist. I'll be like, girl, buckle up. Because I wrote a lot of things down, because also I'm a little forgetful. I wrote a lot of things down, and we gotta unpack this.
Okay, I'm not laughing or smiling because this is not serious, because it is very serious.
It's also kind of funny, so you can laugh.
Also, the conversation with our therapist, it's cool. They can't judge us, which is what it is.
No, literally, I'm like, baby, don't tell nobody contractually.
But that's really incredible. I feel like a lot of people have the opposite problem, not being able to compartmentalize things, right? Like everything is hitting you at once. Sometimes it's like so overwhelming.
Yeah.
You can't help but like feeling scattered. It is actually incredible that like you can do it to such a degree that you can schedule like, cool, here's my moment to like really feel like the album drop. Now I can like let this in. That is like,
I don't know. Sometimes I'm scared of myself. I feel like iRobot, that movie with Will Smith. Scary.
When did this start happening?
You know what I think really helped me in a way is glam. Being in glam for like all those hours and I just feel like people are touching me, I just become like, whoop. And I just let it all, it's not real. It's all not real. And then also I'm like, at the same time answering emails and I'm like, yes, yeah, I'm on the call, yeah. And I just feel like, oh, I don't know. You know that meme of SpongeBob when he had all those hands? But see, I would be doing that, no emotion, whatever, doing this. This is me, good morning. I don't know. So I don't know. I think being like touched and, you know, because that's part of the job, just made me be like, all right.
Hey, look, it sounds like you developed a serious survival skill. I'll say
Maybe that is right.
Although you need to work through it, it's
I
survival.
know. I'm like, do I need to unpack this? Everyone, I'm okay. I'm happy and I love my job. I'm happy. I love my job. I mean, seriously, it is kind of like, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. But I think I've gotten better at being like, guys, I want to take a break. I don't say that often. I really don't. But I've said it before. My PR is like, you've never said that.
This never
I
happens.
have. Ask Camille. I have.
We have to check with one person on your whole team who may or may not have heard you say that.
Why would I sit up here and lie to y'all?
It never happens.
It's not that often, but there are times. And also I feel like as I'm balancing my personal life and all of the things that are important to me, I have to say, y'all, this is not negotiable. I need to be here for my sister's birthday. Y'all, this is not negotiable. I need to be here for this event, for this person that I love. Like, I need to. Because I can't lose one for the sake of this.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
not going to hold.
No, that balance is really important. And boundaries are really important. And a lot of the album is about this, right? Relationships.
Yeah.
They're turbulent. They take a lot of energy and time and like put a lot of emotional weight on you. And so we hear you going through this on the album, the highs and lows of it. And I wonder, like, you know, is it easy sharing these experiences? Because I'm assuming some of this is actually personal, things you've been through. Is it easy sharing that on the album? And how do you even balance? How do you do it? How do you balance like having a serious relationship with like this crazy schedule where you're acting, singing, dancing, performing, taking calls? Like there's, like you said, there's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on. Well, to speak to the first question, that goes back into my iRobot, where I'm like, I really am like about to tell y'all a lot. And we're just met. You might be a co-writer and I just met you. So here's what I want to say on this. And here's why. Don't tell nobody, okay? But I don't know. It's like, I want to have the most real version of a song because I feel like that's what sticks. If there's anything, any formula, even though there's not, authenticity is going to hit majority of people. So I feel like it's kind of the crucial part to get the outcome that I want, which is a usable, relatable song. Because music is power. Why would I get up there and not say nothing, you know? So that part, I'd just be like, here we go, 1, 2, 3. This is what I got to say. This is what happened, okay? No, tell nobody. The balance of it all, sometimes I think about like a doctor. And I'm like, they're saving lives. No, on call. Grey's Anatomy, on call. I'm not going to sit up here and complain.
Grey's Anatomy, girl.
Yeah.
That's what we're using as a reference point?
Babe, that's all. I mean, that's the only ones I know, except the Follow Me Around a Day in the Life as a surgeon, which I do watch those. Because I want to see. I'm like, y'all are doing a lot. And it's about lives. Lives are at stake.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit up here and be like, whoa, my problems. Oh, no, babe. If they can do it, if they can save lives, then I can do it. I can do my job and figure out how to fit things in. Sometimes you gotta say no, though. Really. That's really the only option because this isn't a 9 to 5. So they will fill that calendar till it's gone. You got to be like, nah, I can't.
People will take your time unless you demand to keep it.
That's a fact. But also this job takes time. Like acting, that's going to be 12 hours. Yeah. That's 12 hours. That's how it goes. Music video, that's going to be 12 hours. That's how it goes. So do you want a music video to go with this song? Then that's what it costs. That's the time that it takes. So in my brain, I feel like that's just what I know. That's, if you want this to happen, then when will you do it? You have to do it. I don't know. I kind of just be like, this is part of it.
It's good that you're partially iRobot. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You don't want to be that person all the time. But to get through all the things that you want to do and all the things that intangible that you talked about earlier, the thing that you feel like you need to reach to feel like you made it, which I know that you can't express to us in words.
Yeah.
You're going to need a bit of that iRobot to stay with you. So it's cool.
Facts.
It's all right.
Facts. And just know, guys, I'm talking these things out with my therapist, okay? So if it ever got unhealthy, someone would know, and they know my emergency contact. It's not unhealthy. It's just what I want right now. I want this certain outcome. Yeah. And I know you put in the work to get what you want. That's what I've known my whole life. That's my childhood. So
since 9 in the sequence.
Hello.
You know?
.com.
It's not gonna stop. I mean, you put out the album and shortly afterwards gave us the extended version. You can't help yourself.
No, that is so real. And then literally jump right on tour bus and go right to all of these shows back to back to back to back to back. But I don't know. I at least I have a job where I love it. It's going to take a lot of time and energy, but I love this. I do. Because otherwise I'd be like, girl, y'all are blocked. Don't call me. I'm out of here. This is too much.
So for the foreseeable future, more albums, more music, and more acting. You're doing all of it.
I would like to try to do all of the things. I feel like there's a way, I've seen now, like, there's a way to schedule out the whole year. I've never done that before. But, you know, like in chunks, it might get more specific as we get closer, but like that will be that touring, that will be the film thing, that'll be, and I'm like, okay, word. I can get with that.
Amazing. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like great that you're like having fun with it. You put out an incredible album. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? It's been a long road to it, but I think all of the experiences that you've had that had shaped you and grounded you, like, make it like the great body of work that it is. So big congratulations. Like, you and your fans should like take a moment now when you decompartmentalize to, like, sit down and really, really enjoy that, Coco. And thank you for like spending some time with us to talk about the album.
Thank you for having me. You know, I love watching all your videos. You're so good. You're so good at your job.
Thank you. In 15 years, you'll come back with some more photos and we'll talk about like the 30 Grammys that you've worn in the meantime. We got, you know what I mean?
Yes.
We'll throw some of those things out. In the meantime, you can stream the album, Why Not More, on Apple Music.
You ate that.